Okay, this is part 3 of the series, I guess, I'm doing on karma's bitch, which is about the karmic consequences to those people who believe themselves to be free thinkers, truth seekers, patriots, soul, I don't know what they call themselves, star seeds. Oh, there's so many terms. Freedom fighters, yeah, all part of the collective that make up the freedom movement, that still refuse objective truth. This image to me really depicts the actual true nature of what's happening in the inner world. And also we're going to just go into, more explanation as to why such a, I guess, pathology would exist. And it's pretty much to do with the relinquishing of everyone's divine capacity for self-ownership to actually take responsibility for the consequence of their own decision. That's generally what's going on, under the scenes. They've been rendered docile from the time they're little, and they can't even recognise it. They can recognise in the others, that they call sheeple, the ones who went along with the vax mandates. That's as far as their thinking goes. What they can't recognise is how they're operating under the same structure, except they can't see where their triggers and their seductions are. That's the problem. And most of them will believe in this external deity, which allows them to abdicate their personal responsibility, because, in the end, God wins, right? And therefore, what are they looking for? They're looking for this benevolent saviour, which is the same idea of this God's win idea, this external father figure. It's the same attachment. So this programming started early on, and very few can recognise that. That was one of the biggest things I noticed when I first started seeing who was showing up, is how many believed in Jesus Christ the Saviour. They say the words, the Saviour. That's what they think Jesus Christ is. That's as far as their capacity for understanding goes. So we're just going to get into that. And if you think about that really deeply, if you're going to ignore your spiritual development, do you honestly believe that you can attain freedom? Do you honestly believe the laws that exist in nature for us to be independent, self-governing, means that we will stay docile and wait for a benevolent saviour, or that we will take matters into our own hands? But first we need to understand the rules by which life happens, and until we understand that, we won't be able to take anything into anyone's hands. So anyway, now I'm going to go into Mark, explaining this in greater detail.
Most people erroneously believe this is the second part of the abdication of responsibility on the part of the people. Most people erroneously believe that they can hand over their natural law right to defend themselves to another individual, group, or entity. In making such a false claim that somebody else is my protector, somebody else, it's their responsibility to protect me, and defend me, they have attempted to abdicate a personal responsibility which actually always belongs to them and can never be given away. That's the self-defense principle. You own it. It's yours. You can't give it away to somebody else. Shock and amazement. Okay? That is your responsibility already. And guess what? You know what? They're all too happy. These controllers are now even all too happy to say, it's not our responsibility to protect you. Because what their actual goal is they're just revenue men for the new king. That's all they are. And to slap people back into line if they try to exercise rights that the new king called government has decreed that they may not exercise. That's what their real role is. They don't serve and protect the people. They serve and protect the ruling class. And they don't want to admit that to themselves. You know why? Because they're liars, most of all to themselves. It's a bunch of childish liars. Franklin said those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither and will lose both. And this addresses the fear of chaos and the desire to abdicate your personal responsibility to defend yourself to other people just because you're afraid and you don't want to take the responsibility of doing it yourself. You want to stay in that mindset? I'll give up my freedom to be safe? Well, enjoy your safe slavery. I, for one, will take my dangerous and chaotic freedom. Okay? I'll take the absolute cannibal lurking around every corner, and I'll take my chances. Thank you very much. Give me my freedom, and my assault rifle, and I'll take my chances, thank you. Okay? So the idea that you just want to be kept safe and you'll give up your freedom to do so, it's just a child. That's how a child thinks. And that's what this is really about, not wanting to grow up and become adults.
So, unfortunately, that's the bulk of the people who call themselves the freedom movement. The ones who believe the Patriots are coming to fix things. You know, there's a white hat movement operation, and it's all going to be better after they clear out all the baddies. And you don't have any responsibility to learn the true nature of morality, of objective morality. Because if you don't know what that is, then you have just allowed more slavery to continue. It's really that simple. I don't know how many more times I need to say that. Obviously, if you're here to learn that, that will mean something to you. If you're here just to prove you're right, obviously, that's going to give you more things to swear and cuss about. And get really, threatening, because obviously you prefer to be right. So we're nearly done, guys. Just got a few more to get through.
The saddest thing is when I object to their flavor of authoritarianism.
So this is Lark and Rose talking about Democrats and Republicans in America. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to swap that around and think about, you've got two sides now. You've got the current system of Liberal, Labor, Greens, whatever. That's one side. The people in the Patriot movement see that's all bad. And then you've got the Trump-WhiteHat saviors on the other. So I want you to think about in those terms when he says Democrat and Republican, because that's the split we're running now.
Both sides, without fail, will accuse me of being the other side because they can't comprehend anything else.
Now, if you look back to the beginning, I got accused of being a wokey, a leftist, I can't remember all the other things, there's so many of them. It's there right in front of you, right? It just shows you how people's binary thinking works. This is a programmed mind that can't see past these two polar opposites. They don't see anything else in between. That's how you control people, is you get them thinking in that split way.
Their thinking is so binary that if you're not a Democrat, you must be a horrible, evil Republican. Or if you're not a Republican, you must be one of those libtard commies. And what I have to keep telling them is, you two have way more in common with each other than I have with either of you, because I actually advocate actual freedom, which means the absence of a ruling class. Both of you are just bickering over which boot to have on your throat. You have almost everything in common. You nitpick a little bit about how the stolen loot should be spent, but you both want me and yourself and everybody else forcibly robbed by a giant authoritarian ruling class.
So what does he mean by that? He means that any system where there's what we call a government, where there's people who are paid to take your possessions off you, that means like taxes, all the different ways they fine you. If that's all still in place, you've got a ruling class, because they don't do any producing, right? They're just doing the taking. That's what he means by that. So you think about what the solution was. You're going to have a 2% expenditure tax. That's something's taken off you when you go buy something, right? That's a nicer way to steal from you, and you volunteer for that. Or the QFS, I think, or the Jasara, I think I heard Charlie Wood say it's like 17%, something like that, flat rate. Same thing. It's still stealing, right? Because how did they earn that money? The people are taking off you by using violent force and aggression to make your life worse if you don't give it up. So what's moral about that?
So no, I'm not a Republican when I make fun of the Democrats, and I'm not a Democrat when I make fun of the Republicans. I'm somebody who believes in freedom, which Republicans can't comprehend, and Democrats can't comprehend, because they fall for this ridiculous notion that, well, here are your two choices. They'll both have a boot on your neck, but those are your choices. That's all there is in the whole world. Don't think outside of that. Don't have anything like principled logic behind your belief system where you go, okay, I want innocent protected, I want poor people taken care of, I don't want people violently dominated or robbed. Is there some solution that could be like voluntary, like a bunch of grown-ups cooperating and organizing without committing violent aggression against all their neighbors? Yeah, there are lots of solutions that fit in that category, and 0 Republicans and 0 Democrats are capable of thinking of them because they've been told your options are A, which is shit, or B, which is crap. So choose your shit or your crap, and then that's all you can do. And anybody who isn't choosing shit or crap, anyone who isn't choosing shit, assume they want crap. And anyone who isn't choosing crap, assume they want shit. And if somebody comes along and says, I don't want shit or crap, well, they're just some fringe extremist. They're not even worth listening to.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell, guys. So if you're really up for freedom, this is what you get from the freedom movement. You get this kind of treatment. And if you want to see proof of that, it's all in the comments, guys. It's all there. And possibly look through the comments of this video. You'll see the same thing show up. This is the sad state of affairs, which is unfortunate. So it just shows you people are not ready, especially the ones who give themselves titles. They're not ready or willing to actually be free. They're too afraid of living in a way where they take full responsibility for their lives. They'd rather someone else decide for them and get all the scary, bad, frightening people away from them. As if you're given all this extra power that no one else can have, like that, you're not going to turn into one of those for some reason. They honestly imagine that to be true. That's the most frightening part. All right, so here's the 13 critical questions. If you're in Australia, the 12th one is, or the 11th one, sorry, is more specific to you, but outside of that, specific to anybody. So this is, if you are interested in this, there's information about how you can understand all this, but this is all, everything here is still got to do with morality. Without knowing these questions, there's specific ways, different ways to understand morality in a way where there's going to be social organization. And if you don't know the specifics of these answers, you are constantly going to be looking for an outside authority to dominate you and scare away all the people that you're afraid of. All right, so define law, define common law, democracy, what's a constitution, sovereignty, anarchy. Now, I think I defined that for you earlier. Democratic rule of law, the defining principle of democracy, what is freedom, the difference between individualism and collectivism, which strategy does the 1981 Commonwealth of Australia Constitution fall under and why? So, which category, not strategy? Is it collectivism or individualism? That's what it's asking you. How is sovereignty expressed within a constitutional framework? And can you build truth from a lie? So, if you're really interested, you can find all this information on the site that I'm about to show you. That's why I advocate for the 1215 Magna Carta, because that's all steeped in moral principle, in the correct setup, not the subverted one that we've been given today, right? Because the criminals who want to run the show, they want to make sure that you don't know the truth. So what they do is they get the truth and they invert it and they make you think Magna Carta was still some kind of control technique run by these elite people called the barons. So anyway, if you're interested in learning more, just listen to this. Okay, just to finish off, just to show you the Magna Carta 1215 Australia site. So this is a wonderful place to come to get knowledge in one spot. So just quickly showing the intro. There we have it. Just giving a little bit there. And you've got news and articles. So just quickly going through, you can see Will Keat, there he is just there. So he features in it. You've got your learning, so you've got videos. Just again, Magna Carta lessons. Larkin Rose, what a surprise. And there's Will Keat again, etc. David Robinson, big input into Article 61 of the 1215 Magna Carta, so really worthwhile going over that. Mark Passio, all natural law stuff, it's all connected, guys. If people think it's not, don't understand how life works. So that's all connected, that's why it's there. Hidden knowledge that gets into the principles that most people sadly don't understand. John Locke, he does specific stuff on Article 61 and how it relates to us here in Australia. Neil Oliver's stuff in there as well, and there's John Locke again, and Magna Carta and Bill of Rights, so that's a big crime, Bill of Rights that is. So just quickly going through that for you. There's a notice process if you're interested in that, so all the stuff you need here, I'm just going to quickly just fly through it, you can look at it in your own time, all the different ways you can go, and let the criminals masquerading as public servants know the crimes they're committing, and that will all stand as evidence. When we do get those courts de jure, or légère terry, as Will was saying, and there's just things you can do right now if you don't want to do the notice process. Is one standalone letter you can send, different versions thereof, to the police and judiciary, and you've got also child protection. Where's child protection? I think it's here. There you go. We're fast tracking through that. Social proof. You want to come see some evidence of people using Article 61. There it is there. All right, different scenarios. There's community groups that are starting up, so you can see a few here. All right, if you want to start your own, you can come join by going to the Contact Us page just here, if I can get it to work, and just send in your info there if you want to start your own community page in your local area. Okay, that's all I want to show about the site.